All right, this is episode 10 of the Boot Podcast. About to go on TikTok live right now. 3, 2, 1. All right, so right now we're talking about nuclear war and UFOs. Only because I want to know what TikTok live, what my followers or anybody that's out there, I want to know what they know. Like, tell me what you know about nuclear war and UFOs. Those are the two topics right now that I want to talk about. Something about nuclear war. We're basically in boot camp I believe it's in boot camp, we get taught on how to treat a nuclear blast, right? It's nothing really you can do. What they teach us is like go into the fetal position and then just go in the fetal position basically in like a dirt, in like a trench if possible, and don't look at the flash. They say don't look at the flash. So all right, so we got some people on, somebody on. What we're trying to talk about is nuclear war and UFOs. What's happening today? So if you want to avoid a nuclear blast, you don't look at the flash. That's what they teach us in boot camp, and then go in a fetal position. You go in a fetal position, and that's about it. That's all they teach you. Unless you go to like NBC, which is like nuclear, biological, chemical warfare. If you're in that job, they'll teach you more. But for regular Marines, they just teach you to go in the fetal position, look away from the blast, and pray for the best. Nuclear, any nuclear blast, if you're that close to it, it's not good, right? We all understand that. So let me see who's on. Who's that? All right, Mormo Brian, love your stuff. Thank you, man. A few dad habits. What's up? Yeah, so we're just talking about nuclear war and UFOs. I want to know what you guys know. There's a lot of things on the news right now that's not talking about like Ukraine and Russia. I don't know if anybody knows about what's happening with Ukraine and Russia. Last week, somebody told me on the podcast, on TikTok Live, when I was on the podcast, what do I think about the U.S. going to war with Russia? I said, China's more of our adversary, but I guess there is concern, right? There should be concern with Russia because of the Ukraine conflict. Ukraine and Russia, if you don't know, Russia is acting up, right? Again, on the border of Crimea. And Ukraine wants U.S. back, of course. Here's the question: is like people are saying, why do we need to go into war with Russia just because of Ukraine? Because to back up Ukraine, we have to go with Russia. And now Tulsi Gabbard is saying, she said on Fox News, and I know Fox News, but Tulsi Gabbard is a Democrat. And listen, what she said is that, if we go to war with Russia, it's not about if, but it's about when there'll be nuclear war, and it's just the crazy part. Chris Palterineri, Semper Fi, brother, Semper Fi, do or die. Turtle videos from the 50s, ducks in cover. Yeah, duck in cover. What's up, bro? Love the vid. XS Crayon, M4 and Cherix. Thank you, brother. So yeah, right now we're just talking about just nuclear war in general, but also because of what's happening with Ukraine and Russia. I don't know if nobody knows about this stuff. I don't know if anybody knows what's happening because it's not being reported right now. I asked a bunch of friends, and all they know is like police brutality and racism and gender, right? That's like the big thing right now. But I'm like, there's shit happening in Ukraine right now, in Russia, and why is happening? Some people are saying why is Russia acting up now is because they see the Biden administration might be a little weak right now, and that's why Putin's like acting up. He did say, I did some research on it. I want to know more what you guys would think about it. But Putin did say he's going to see how his action, Russia's reactions, and all that stuff will determine on the U.S. behavior. Because what happened was that Biden said, Biden wants to schedule a meeting with Putin, in a country where they're neutral, and Russia said, well, we'll see, and it all depends on U.S.'s behavior. And I found that, it's like, wow, he's putting us in check. He's trying to, and he did, he's acting up now because he can talk like that to, I guess, Biden. I know he tried to. I remember seeing Putin saying, he wanted a debate or something, a meeting with Biden, but he wanted it live, and because he knows, he's saying that Biden won't do it. I guess I don't know what's going on. What is he saying? Hey, I wanna lay 29 Palms is running Sims right now. My boy just got back. What kind of Sims? What kind of Sims are they running? All he's doing is trying to start another war to make a name for himself. Yeah, I don't know. There are leaders that we have on both sides. It's just leaders that they want to see war. They profit off of it, right? It sucks that the American citizens are the ones who pay for it, literally, with money and lives. Thank you for your service. Appreciate your videos of all the true American hero. Thank you for watching and supporting. Hi from Kansas. Awesome. Hello, Stephanie 76. Trying to give you guys shout outs too, for your names. Some of the names are really hard to read. So Biden won't speak well live. Of course he won't. Putin wants to expose that. I don't think Putin needs to expose that. He's doing that on his own. But more importantly, I just think the media is, is just crazy. I looked at Twitter. I hate Twitter. First of all, Twitter is like one of the worst place you could go to, especially if you. My God, Twitter is just. It's the wild, wild west at Twitter, man. People are just off the walls there, on both sides. It's just crazy, man. The way people treat each other it's rough there. I would not suggest go on Twitter and see the comments on how they talk to each other. And it's funny because they won't. That's not how people even will talk. Those same people won't even talk like that in face to face. Ukraine would have to be asked out. We can't afford more conflicts. We can't. I don't want, right? We don't want more conflict. Tulsi Gabbard, I know she said Biden needs to de-escalate the situation. Man, and she says, again, it's not if we go to war with Russia, backing up Ukraine, it's not about if we have nuclear war, it's about when. It's a little crazy, and I did a little research, and then there's like 50 times that we were very close to having nuclear war throughout the past few decades, since the 50s or something like that. There's many close calls and like very human error, and just like we have satellites that are stationary above the. This is what I read. Okay, there's satellites that are stationary above, like let's say the U.S. that kind of that can read heat signatures like such as missiles and stuff like that. And one mistake that they did was, or one mistake that I read was having moonlight and misread it as a missile, like from the heat signature and stuff like that. And that was a close call. That was one close call. There was stuff in Okinawa too. There was, you've probably seen like a bunch of movies like that too. It's like, this DEFCON 1, there's a lot of close calls that we could go in nuclear war. And it's not just like, when one nuke goes off, all of them goes on. There's tactical nuclear war, right? So one nuke will, if somebody shoots a nuke, let's say Russia, it's not even a shooting a nuke. This normally would be, from what the tactical tactics that I read, it will be, like a plane, a fighter jet or bomber would drop one or two, and then they'll exchange countries, and it'll normally be from Russia and Europe. America, I love that we're so far away from all the, from NATO and all that, and it'll be Russia and NATO going back and forth. European countries just going at it with nukes. This during only a nuclear war. So let me just read this real quick. I like that you like Tulsi. I think she's just very logical. I like both sides. I'm again, I don't know if you guys know, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican. I'm just an American trying to see both sides, and I agree with both and I disagree with both. That's why I can't choose a side, but I can choose. I know one thing I am is an American. So yeah, they'll shoot with missiles. I mean, with fighter jets, or I should say bombers, and it'll escalate, right? And it's just a bunch of European countries. They'll you're going back and forth with hundreds of a few nukes. I don't think it's hundreds. It's gonna keep escalating. From what I know is that they'll if once they shoot it towards America, they'll go for more military sites targeted, and then after you hit military sites, then you hit civilian sites, only because you want to diminish the economy, right? And it's New York, LA, Washington are like the and Seattle, I believe. Well, Seattle, because I know that's one of the cities that they mentioned. Yes. What is that? A few that habits, both sides and views are needed in balance. Of course, it's just logic, right? You gotta hear both sides. Do you know what that Tulsi, when she first went into the Senate, right, and she went to the Congress, it was like, she said it was like high school, and where they said Republicans sits on one side and Democrats sits on one side. You're not allowed to talk to each other, which is freaking insane. How do you get things done then? You're not allowed to talk to each other, and you're not allowed to agree with anything on the other side. You can't agree with them. You can't agree or do anything that makes the other side's opinions or whatever suggestions validated. You just gotta stay with your side. It's just freaking insane. The stuff that that's why I like Tulsi. She's very logical. Like, she's very rational and says and says things that we all are thinking. The ones who aren't rational are the ones who are all there just playing this game, just and accepting the money. That's how I look at it. Have you studied asymmetrical warfare? No, I have not. I'll look into that though. Tell me about it. I know it's gonna be tough to. I don't even know how many letters you could type on this, but gotta find. Hey, I wanna Leia. Gotta find my NBC suit. Oh shit, you're an NBC, huh? One of my good buddy Ryan, he was NBC. So I don't know how much he knows, but in the Marine Corps he was NBC, and he had, he was in his shop. He was in charge of all the NBC suits and gas masks. Pretty cool dude. All right, so what two sides are there to commitment counterparts not communicate domestic and foreign issues? What? I don't know. 76. I'm not getting what you're saying. Two sides are there to commitment counterparts not communicate domestic and foreign issues. Not sure what you're trying to say there. All right, so using a few data habits, using limited resources to inflict as much damage as possible. Oh, is that asymmetrical warfare? Using a $3 knife to inflict thousands of medical bills. That makes sense. So that's like what's happening now, I guess. using a $3 knife to inflict thousands in medical bills. It's crazy stuff. Asymmetrical warfare. Let me just take a look. Asymmetrical. Wish I had somebody to do this for me. Warfare involving asymmetrical warfare involving surprise attacks by small, simply armed groups on a nation armed with modern high-tech weaponry. Okay, yeah. So it's like, I mean, in a sense, it's like how CIA can do what the CIA can do. They can, three guys can go in and kind of destroy a country, the economy, like stuff like that, I guess. So you think UFOs are real? What is that? CJ Rhino DI3. Do I think UFOs? Holy crap! I mean, the Pentagon does. I don't know if anybody you guys know that this. I don't know if it's on the news. I don't really watch the news, like especially on regular cable TV. I try not to see news. There's so much. When I read the news, especially like mainstream media, I can just see the deception and how they're wording things, and it's just like I could see how they just want you to make you feel instead of make you think, and or click, right? They want you to click first the headlines, and then when you actually read it, it's like it's all BS. So do I think UFOs are real? Apparently, right? For me to say no is pretty ignorant when all this stuff is happening, and all the sighting. Just like a couple of days ago, the Pentagon said there was film of a documentary guy filmed it on. He was on a naval ship and he filmed it in the sky. It was like he looked like a Dorito, right? I don't know if you guys saw that on TikTok. TikTok is where I get a lot of news, and then anything that I do get, I try to do the research on, obviously, right? You got to do a little more research. So yeah, the UFO thing, I want to know more. We want to know more, right? How many more months do we have or days when they signed the COVID bill and they said that Congress or whoever has to release all the information on UFOs? We only have a little more short time and see what's going on, but and it's funny because are the UFOs? Some people are saying the UFOs are coming because we're very close to nuclear war. I don't know, right? It's like hey, we gotta. If they're watching us and they're like, "Holy crap, these mofo's are about to destroy themselves," what happens if that's actually us in the future and we know how to come back? Stuff like that. There's a lot of theories that I've seen. A few that habits. Yeah. CIA are great asymmetrical engagements. Okay, so I guess I get the right idea of it. The vaccines are made for population control. I don't know, right? I don't know what's going on. There's so many mixed information going on. Who to believe? If any science experiment in anything, and that a source of information has been contaminated, that's how I look at the media. And if the media is the source of information, and they're like kind of contaminated, the information, if we understand that they do lie, when I talk to other people and I go like, hey, listen, the information that you're getting from the media can be false. And if that's the case, we have to be very careful on everything that they're telling us. And then the next day, oh yeah, I understand. And the next thing they hear on the media, and they're like, oh, but did you hear this? And I'm like, okay, but that applies to that too. You got to think more. It's just a lot of people are sometimes it's just really difficult to talk to. All right, so there are two sides of the aisle. 7076. There are two sides of the aisle. They are there to complement, not complicate foreign and domestic issues. Yeah, right. But that's the thing. Are they even? What I think they are complicating things. I'm not sure. Because they try to argue more with their political benefits, and that's where it goes wrong. and it fucks over the American people, and then the American people who are divided or so into the division, they're like, yeah, this group or whoever tribe I'm with is winning. But it's like, does it really benefit you? And that's the argument that everyone's having, right? Can you do a video on Charlie Keating? Let me write that down, Charlie Keating. And let me do some research on that. Definitely. So the videos that I do, they're, I try. Sometimes it's tough sometimes because you gotta. I wanna do videos on every single one. First of all, there's so many people that deserves recognition. But the tough part is that you want people who aren't in the people who are veterans or are in the military, they're more likely to see these videos and then it passes on. The thing is that the people who aren't necessarily interested or never were interested, those are the people that should be listening and watching these videos too, just because they're Americans or whoever. But the thing is that it needs to still be interesting and entertaining or whatever, right? So that's the issue that it just makes it harder, so that I try to make it as palatable as interesting as possible, so that people want to watch these videos. People who had no idea about what the military or what our troops go through, you want them to watch it too, and that's just the difficulty that making these videos is, to make it somewhat either entertaining or personal. Let's see what's going on. I don't think the pictures were put out to the general media, although the Pentagon released the photo. I don't think the pictures were put out to the general media, although the Pentagon released the photo. Yeah, you're right. Of course, the media. Yeah, the Pentagon is the one who released the photos and stated it, right? The media, again, I'm not a big fan, man. I'm not a big fan of the media. How can you be? Can you do... All right. Even a failed attack will cause your enemy to spend money in defense. Let me see what you might have said before that. Sorry, there's like a lot of messages coming in. We need a Jamie. Yeah, I do need more Brian. You need a Jamie. I just gotta be fast with it, and everybody's gotta be patient when I do a little research. But declassified. All right, Jackson 72. Declassified now, so I can talk about it. I tested piloted chairs when I was in the Air Force. Okay. All right. Wouldn't you think other people would see it as well and record it? Wait, the recent UFO sighting was recorded from a Navy ship? Yes. It was a filmmaker or somebody who's making a documentary, and he recorded it on a Navy ship. That's what it said on the report. But and so let me just explain what the UFO sighting was. It was and this was like 2 days ago, a day ago, 2 days ago, a few days ago, and it looked like a Dorito chip, right? That's what everyone's saying. It looked like a triangle. It's in the sky, has some blinks. Not sure, and then the Pentagon released that the photos or whatever are I forgot what they call it, not UFOs, but unidentified phenomenon, something like aerial phenomenons. They changed it. Have you talked about the recent alien sighting confirmed by the Pentagon? Yeah, cool loser. Yeah, that's what we're talking about right now. We become aliens ourselves. Yeah, probably. Can you do a video on talk about the vaccines? Yeah, we'll get into that. Definitely. Can you do a video on... How many times are you gonna ask? I wrote it down. All right. Hey man, so excited to be interacting with you. Your videos are absolutely. Oh, what happened here? Absolutely hardest to tap the heart icon. I mean, yeah, So okay, so John DeLacy. Hey man, so excited to be interacting with you. Your videos are absolutely hardest to tap the heart icon. Yeah, it's hard to like a video that's. I feel the same way, when I see something else that's like heartbreaking or sad. Somewhere somebody says, whoever passed away, and it's like hard to like that video. But in the sense that liking the video is to actually, it helps promoting it. Can't confirm that, but I would think the video should be everywhere. Well, I don't even think the Pentagon videos were on the news. CJ Reinhold DI3 said, he said, or she, well, I don't even think the Pentagon videos were on the news. Yeah, I don't think so. Nominate the video. What do you think about the tensions between Russia versus Ukraine and China versus Taiwan? All right, so Mr. 7-Eleven Insane, what do you think about the tensions between Russia versus Ukraine and China versus Taiwan? Yeah, man, it's getting interesting. It's getting real interesting because the argument is like, why do we have to go into war with Russia to back up Ukraine? And now Ukraine and NATO, trying to get NATO's back. Turkey came in the game. It's gonna and that escalates. I don't think Putin. I don't know what Putin do, right? Some saying that it can escalate very quickly, very fast, because it starts with the troops, right? And what's happening with the troops and the border is they're actually, I think there was like 27 casualties already, and that's already gives an excuse to keep going back and forth with the ground troops, and then it escalates. It just escalates from there. Wait, what's happening with Ukraine? CJ Reinhold D3. What's happening with Ukraine is that there's war right now, and that's the problem, is that we're not being reported on it. There's war with Ukraine. NATO's getting involved, and the U.S. is getting involved. And what we don't want is China and Russia to come together, because what I've been told is China is more of our adversary, right? Russia's really not our adversary. It's not. We're superpowers because they have nuclear weapons, but we don't have, our beef is not with Russia necessarily. We don't. If it wasn't for Ukraine, we won't necessarily have any beef with Russia. It's just the fact that some people are saying because Ukraine, Biden's been backing up Ukraine for a while. Hunter, I believe, was it Hunter that he was getting like $50,000 a month from Ukraine Energy? Is that correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. So they have ties already, and that's what they're saying. They have ties, and why would U.S. come in? It's because of that, maybe. I don't know. Do you think we should back Ukraine and Taiwan or no? Man, I don't know. That's very complicated, right? Because we definitely should not get into war with Russia. 100% we shouldn't get into war with Russia. Because what experts are saying is, if we do go into war with Russia, like what Tulsi said, it's not if, but when we will have nuclear war. That's what happens if we go to war with Russia. And we don't want China to take the opportunity to team up with Russia. China is by far our greatest threat. Russia doesn't come close, and Russia has major capabilities. Of course, yeah, devil dog, yeah, sure. But the fact that if we get involved this Ukraine war with the Russians, that's the only way we're starting new beef, real beef. Taiwan and China's navy was very, if you look at the design of China's navy, it was designed to infiltrate or invade like Taiwan. Their navy is not really made to, I think they have thousands of ships, but only a few number of them can go far distance, so they can't even reach us. But do we back them up? That's right. We've been doing it forever. We've been backing up countries all the time. The thing is, what Trump, I think, opened up a lot of people's eyes is, the whole thing about America first. Stop getting into other people's, stop trying to solve other countries' problems first. Solve America's problems first. But we kicked them out, and now we have Biden, and he's looking at the COVID bill and all that stuff. You could see that it's pretty obvious that they're not about America first. They're about other countries first, with all the money that they're giving away, to all the other countries, and how we're, keep peeking into other people's conflicts. The crazy part also, again, what people are saying, why now? It's because they say Putin, it's time to act now. Let's say if we were China and Russia, it's time to act now when they see America so weak right now. They see us weak. It's just as obvious. The media, they could see what the media is doing to the public, the manipulation. They're seeing all that crap. They're seeing all, we're like the Trojan horse, right? We're tearing apart ourselves from the inside. The Civil War, like Captain America Civil War. You can't beat the superpower. You gotta make them destroy themselves. We're our own worst enemy at this point. And it's true. You can see, we take tough men and we make them into women or whatever, right? We're masculinity is, it's craziness. It's just madness happening right now, and they're seeing that, and then you have, I don't want to talk crap, but it's just I'm just saying what is being shown, like, Biden not being able to hold conversations and stuff like that. You could just see all this weakness, and now if I was a predator, that's what you go for. You go for weakness. That's when you attack. Or that's when you make moves. That's when you advance. Now's the time, right? That's how they look at it. That's why are they? Oh, okay, Biden's and look at this administration. It's crazy. America right now is so focused on. We're so blinded. Whatever the media is telling us to focus on, we're focusing on. And that's it. And that's like, holy crap. If I was Russia, like, now's the time to make moves. Like, I'm gonna take Crimea or whatever back now. When I get now I have the chance to really, really make moves, because, I could say things to the Biden administration. Say what Putin said was, Biden wanted the meeting with Putin, and then Putin said, well, we'll see. We'll see how America behaves first. That's a crazy thing to say. That's like, that's like, I don't know. Trump was tough on that, man. Trump's the one, like, normally that would talk like that. You could see that, it's the opposite. Trump would normally be the one that would be like, making the insults or putting people down, checking them. Okay, so let me just get back to Devil Dog Asher. Hey, I gotta go. When you can, please do one of your memorial vids for the Lion of Fallujah. Yeah, I'm gonna do the Lion of Fallujah, man. I'm definitely gonna do them. That's supporting Taiwan. I do believe that supporting Taiwan is important. Taiwan is Democratic ally. Yeah. So, man, I mean, I personally support with like Hong Kong and Taiwan, right? It's just crazy because I'm not a fan of China, right? I don't want to say that. Do I have to, my door's gonna bust down right now, and if I say certain things, right? Um, Man, Taiwan. Yeah, it's just it's crazy because like just when you saw Hong Kong asking for the people of Hong Kong were, I don't know if you guys know this, the people of Hong Kong were waving American flags and stuff like that, asking for Trump's help and stuff like that, asking for Americans' help, and you see us over here waving communist flags, which is it's just crazy, right? It's crazy times, confusing times right now. All right, if we really had world peace, we could get so much done for outer space. Yeah, I mean, we're doing it. This outer space right now is privatized, right? SpaceX and whatnot, because the government's so focused on other shit. All right. So Justin Steven, LOL. Even though I hate seeing my native country taken over, the U.S. should not get involved. Yeah, maybe, right? I mean, we got some things to fix over here too. We just I think the media and the American people need to snap out of it. And you know who I'm talking about, like a lot of people who just like so fixated on what the media says, and they get so angry. CJ Arnold D3. Do you think Biden or Trump is better for us, and why? I mean, just through facts, I'm just trying to be rational. I'm not, with as much as I'm biased. When Trump was in office, I remember we had the best economy. Everything was going great. There's no war. I'm a combat war veteran, and war is not good. What I saw on Twitter, I think the other day, and people are saying like, "Oh, Biden is finally showing toughness to Putin." He's showing the big stick. That's my president. And like war, yeah, we know. These people don't understand war. These are the people who never been in a fight or don't understand war, the cost of war, and they're the ones who are blindly for it, just because it fulfills their political agenda or whatever their tribalism is. It agrees with them, and that's what's happening. And Twitter is crazy. Again, I don't go there. Do not go on Twitter if you want to hold some sanity. Yes. All right. CJ Ronald D3. Yeah, American society after 2018 has gotten so out of hand, in my opinion. I don't think that's an opinion, brother. That's a fact. It will be all European war until we get enough troops over there. We don't have the troops. What do you mean? Bavarian aviator. It would be all European war until we get enough troops over there. We don't have. Oh yeah. So yeah, definitely. It'll be NATO. Within Europe, everyone's fighting there. Definitely. Yeah, you're right. Hey, I want to lay Oh, what the hell? Everything just disappeared. All right, so yeah, if they're for it, they should go and fight, and they won't. And this is what's happening. There's the people who don't understand both sides. This is my opinion. We gotta stop reacting with emotions. Like again, the media it just thrives with emotions, not logic, right? If you're really truly thinking, even with what's happening with police brutality, even I don't know if you guys know Project Veritas, something like that. They uncovered a CNN director saying the CNN director has been admitted that they used propaganda to get Trump out of office. Admitted it, and to make Biden look good. They admitted manipulating the public to hate Trump. And then and then he also admitted that they used COVID as a fear tactic. It's just crazy, you know. And you could I show these videos of admittance, you know, like this guy admitting that they used COVID as a fear tactic. They so they could get higher ratings. They manipulated the public to hate Trump so that he will get kicked out of office or whatever to get him out, and to make Biden look good. You show these to people. However, when you're so into when you don't have self-awareness, they're in denial. You know, you're gonna be in denial. So you could show this to who I know we all have like friends and family members who are very fixated on the belief of what the news and media tells us. But when you do show them even facts and evidence, it's not gonna hit them right away. But don't argue with them either, because you're not gonna change their mind right away. It doesn't work like that. It takes a while. It takes a little bit. But at least if you put that information and they see it, they'll be in denial. It's like, okay, this is bullshit, or whatever. Or they just ignore it. They're in denial, right? And then it's only a matter of time that, depending how logical and rational this person is originally, will start to be like thinking to himself, have I been tricked? You know, that's the question. You question yourself, and that's self-awareness. But what's happening right now, it's just a matter of time. The amount of lies that's been being told to us, you can only lie so much before everything collapses, right? It's just that's the thing, right? So when you watch TV shows or whatever, or a little kid or anybody that just piles on lies and lies and lies, sooner or later it's gonna collapse, and it's just a waiting game. So a little patience, right? I strongly believe that it will, all the truth will start coming arise. Just like how the CNN director has been caught admitting that they've been manipulating the public. It's just crazy. And again, this is for all media. We're a market, They're just they just feeding into the market. They want the money, and that's what we need to understand. It's just, what content do I need to show so that our market will watch us, so that our advertisers, that's the concept of all of this. And so that's why we need to take it with with a grain of salt, I should say. Anyways, so let me just get some comments here. Trump was crazy, but he was our crazy, and I love this country. Yeah, he was. I mean, I wish he had a little more a little more I wish he was a little more tactical on how to outsmart the media, but he was just headstrong, and maybe that's what a lot of people like too. But I'm pretty sure there could have been a little more clever ways. Weekend Fisher 13, thank you for your service, sir. Thank you, I really appreciate that. So, is nuclear war? And is it coming close? We don't know, but I think we need to, definitely pay attention to what's going on. It's just crazy that we're not being reported on it. And if I tell my friends, like, hey, look what's happening right now, I give them the information. You could give your friends and people information right now, and if it's not coming from, and especially if they're like very brainwashed or manipulated, I want to say, and if it's not on the news, they won't take it. And it's just denial. That's the denial. It's like, no, nuclear war is not possible. No war, it's just, it's just tough to communicate with certain people these days. All right, so J Maria 1, thank you for your service and content on this platform. I appreciate that. Gangales, Zero, is the military worth it? Definitely, I think so. And it's up to you, to make whatever you do in life, and whatever you do, it's up to you to make it worth it, right? It's your mentality, your expectations, and your mindset. For anything that you do, you need to make it. You can make it worth it or not. There's a lot of people that went into the military for everyone goes in for various reasons, but I know there's a lot that go in just because of the money, like, and then they have a horrible time. They just have a horrible time. And then you got the ones that are just that pumped about the military. They're pumped about the weaponry and the tactics and just serving their country. When they're pumped about that, they normally have a good time, have a good experience. Obviously it's up and down because it's tough. It is tough, no matter what job you're doing, because you're giving up freedom. While your friends are in college drinking and having fun, you'll have some fun that too. But most of the time, you'll be doing, especially when we were in, we had a lot of resentment towards college people, right? College kids who are our peers who are in college, and we were in the military, and that was our choice. But we still, we're young, a lot of ego, like it's college, they're having fun, because like the hardest decision, we have to make decisions. Like if we go left or right, it could be life or death. But the decisions making, went to our peers, our friends back at home. Their decision making is like, should we go to this bar or that bar tonight? That was the little resentment towards that. But that as you get it's a great time. I think the military is totally worth it, especially if you're into that stuff. If you're into waking up early, if you're into training, you don't have to be into it. You just gotta do it. There's a lot of things. That's one thing that the military does teach you is you learn that you're able to do things that you don't want to do, or you never expected that you could possibly do. Like run X amount of miles, or go to war, and survive war, or there's a lot of things that you can get from it. So many things, man. So many things that you can learn from the being in the military. I'm sure so many veterans. I think there's a lot of veterans that forget that too. They go in and they come out, and then they're done, and they don't realize that you just had thousands and thousands of dollars of training and experience that you're just kind of like throwing away. That's what happens. Some continue to maintain their body and their fitness, their health, and some become civilians and get very comfortable. That's what happens. It's just human. But the mindset's there. Normally, whoever if you've done it once, the military mindset is very is beneficial. It's crazy. Democratic veteran, your videos are awesome and speak to my heart. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Again, I want to try to pump out as many tributes as possible, but each one too, the way I make those is like I gotta research so much, because I don't want to put out the wrong information, right? I gotta make sure the right picture in, and the video that I just put out right now about Scott Montoya is the one that's out right now. I had to take that one down because somebody was telling me I had a wrong picture up. And it looked like a guy that looked exactly like him. He was a sheriff. His name was Michael Scott. So it was a little mixed up. So I had to take that down, and because it's not just like a regular TikTok video where I could just leave it up. It's not a minor mistake. It's a tribute to someone that did something very extraordinary. Especially if it's a tribute to one who's deceased, who passed away. Definitely gotta be precise with that. I've got to go. Thanks for talking to me and everyone, man. Have a good day. Yeah, have a good day too, CJ. Rhino D13. What do you think you should do? Okay, so what do you think I should do to prepare for the Navy SEALs? Hey, somebody else. I met a few Navy SEALs when I was in the Marines. Especially, I met the ones I met were in Iraq in the Chow Hall. Cool dudes. What can you do? I mean, that goes for Marines, especially for the Navy SEALs, because we got MARSOC, Marine Recon and Force Recon, Special Sniper School, Scout Sniper, the best snipers. One thing you can't prepare for, though, let me tell you, is it's the limit of what you think you can go through. Does that make sense? Like, okay, here we go. Best thing you could prepare for is stamina, endurance, running. You gotta know how to run. You have to. You gotta know how to run for miles. Endurance. You gotta boost up your endurance. That goes, I think, for any branch. Whether you want to be, especially if you want to be an officer in the Marines or an officer, you need to know how to run. But the hardest thing is about it's not about how big you are, how muscular. It's about what your mind can take. Who gives up? It's definitely 100% about who gives up. They want you to give up. Not that they don't want to see you fail, and that goes for the Marines too. They don't want you to see you fail, but they want to. They're not there. They're not against you. They want you to succeed. They need good people. So they want to see, the mind is the first thing. How much stress can you take? Boot camp alone you're a prisoner of war in boot camp. In boot camp, you're treated as a prisoner of war. You get food, mail, and religion. And that's what POWs get. Food, mail, and religion. Those are the rights that we give to our POWs, and that's the things that for the Marine Corps boot camp, especially, that's what we get. We get to eat, and we get to get our mail, and we have the right to practice religion, and that's it. So, and everything else is just pushing you to the limit. A lot of physical pain is like. Anybody can do it. Physical pain is gonna go to a certain point where it affects your mind, and that's where like pushing scud brushes. We had to push these brushes from one end to the other end, and it's just like and they'll make you do it. You don't know how long it's gonna last, and it's just you're burning. Your thighs are burning, everything's burning. You're tired, you're stressed out, you're fighting with everybody else, and they want that. They're creating a stressful environment, because when you're in combat, it's gonna be very, very combat is so stressful. When you have live rounds coming at you, shooting at you, it just gets very stressful. Obviously, right? Of course it's stressful. But the thing about all this training, I think I was more stressed in boot camp than I was in actual fighting in combat. Because you don't have time to think. In combat, you don't have time to argue and complain about each other. That was like in boot camp, you'll be like, oh, hurry up. You're trying to you're stressed out, and I think that you develop. So obviously in combat, I developed, and I'm glad that you have that training. And when you're in actual combat, you are thinking, but it's also you're like on autopilot. Everything's muscle memory, because you've done it so much, you've done it so many times, and you're it's very impressive. You'll be so impressed with yourself what you can do, because you're focusing on many things. I'll be shooting on the machine gun, and I have my friends, some Marines about like 30 feet away from me. I was on a truck on top of the turret, and we're getting attacked, and we're just exchanging rounds, shooting back and forth. And I remember this is like an outer body experience. I would see my Marines over there shooting back. I remember seeing them getting shot at, bullet impacts hitting the dirt around them, and I'm laying down gun range. At the same time, I'm looking at my ammo depleting. So then this all happens in a matter of seconds, and I know your brain is just working on at the max capacity. This when you're on survival mode, that's where you see like people like, oh my god, a mom lift up a car to save her baby, because you're using way more of what you're capable of during those times, and it's just is an amazing feeling, and it's obviously addictive because some people can't turn it off, and that's where it can go bad. And for me, it went a little bad too, but all right, so let me just see this real quick. Learn how to balance a Red Bull on your nose. All right, let me just see this real quick. OIF Vet here, man. Honestly, love your tribute vids. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Just Jimmy. All right, so GoVols 1020. What are your thoughts on Russia escalating tensions with Ukraine and what the U.S. will do? Again, that's what I was talking about. What we will do? I hope we de-escalate. I hope. I don't think Putin's gonna soften up on Biden. Like, he's just not. He's gonna be one of, maybe if it was somebody like Trump, like someone more headstrong, like, because that's how they were before. I think he had a better relationship. What the U.S. would do, it's scary what the U.S. will do. Because again, like what Tulsi Gabbard said on, she said, if we go to war with Russia, it's not if, but when we'll have nuclear war. And if we have nuclear war, it's the end. It's the end of, it's the end of the world, technically. A few million will survive here and there. But the amount of warheads and missiles, we have defenses too, though, but not enough. I mean, if I saw the tactics on how tactical nuclear war begins, it just starts with like a couple of missiles, and then it just escalates and just escalates, and you just hundreds of missiles coming at once, and like some of them are what do you call that? Decoys. Some missiles are decoys. Some so that the actual warheads can go through. There's a lot of thought put into this on how to end the world. And I don't want to say this as like, I'm a very optimistic person, but I'm also trying to be rational and real. I have to understand the worst and and what can possibly happen. I'm hoping it will end well. What we're gonna do is just let Russia take over Crimea. Maybe, I don't know. Is it our business? I don't know. Send Trump to Russia works this out. What does that mean? World War III in the air. Don't WAN? What does that mean, Jess? Terry, I am going to Karen you. Please honor Captain Guzman and Sergeant Davis Monday, 19 April KIT. All right, let me write that down for you. Mad Marine 86. Captain Guzman. Where is that? And Sergeant Davis. I'll look it up. The list is very long. I mean, Davis, Monday, April 19th. All right. Okay, see. All right. I got that down. So, World War III is in the air. Yeah, because the countries are getting involved. You got Turkey getting involved. NATO is coming in. There's different arguments that I hear. NATO should not come in on this. I don't know. Tell me what you guys know. Like, because again, why I wanted to do this is because the media is not telling us. The media is just showing us about how, police brutality is what we should be fearing. Yes, I think that there should be police more trained. We need to change things, of course. We definitely have to have better training. But that's there should be a limit of a focus on one thing, on one problem, and then understanding that problem and agree to that there is a problem and how we're gonna fix it. Agree on the solution and pump it out, and then move on to the next problem. And that's how we gotta keep going. But we just keep showing videos or whatever on things that make Americans mad, and angry or scared, and that's media lies. Medium Dennis, media lies, definitely 100%. It's not, or they what they do is they just want you to be very emotional about certain matters, and then people are like, oh, you see this is how it is, and everyone's getting mad, they fight with each other. But here's the thing too, is like you get so mad, and I tell my friends, stop, you gotta understand, yes, be angry, but also understand, what's why you're so angry, and you gotta do something. But what's your solution then? Or are you just gonna sit there and be angry? Because then you're just a keyboard warrior, right? Because you're not willing, trying to understand all sides. You're just angry, and it's like, that's not your fault. It's the media's fault, right? You're not thinking, you're just feeling. And then I tell them, like, you're ridiculing people who are doing a difficult job. Being a police officer is very difficult, right? Why is it difficult? Because they're put in situations that are very complicated, meaning high impact risk situations where their lives can be on the line, like pulling over a random stranger and getting shot, right? It could possibly be. So understanding all that, but they're not understanding that. They're just saying you're just mad. They're just mad, and it's not mad for no reason. They're just mad without any possible thinking. So now what you're doing is just that you're ridiculing people that are doing a very difficult job, that are put in complicated situations, and then you're just sitting on the sidelines judging and not trying to understand, but just being mad. So then now that makes you into a keyboard warrior. Because the only, you never, and a lot of my friends, they're not military. They never did anything where they're putting their lives at risk to help others, like law enforcement, firemen, military. They're not doing anything they never participated in anything that's in that they put their life on the line. And if you don't understand that, then you're just gonna sit there and be angry with no solution. And that's what the media wants, right? It's like a zombie. And that's how I see it. It's just a bunch of zombies being mad with no else. There's no other thinking beyond that. It's like, okay, so what can we do? And instead of having discussions on proper discussions, they just show articles and headlines in like group chats and stuff like that. And they just get really furious. And then that spreads. And then what happens is that those kind of actions just spreads, and then it validates on defunding the police when you need more funding and more training, right? It just and there people angry about that, and then now police departments, they don't want to get canceled, they don't want to get bad press, so they fire good. I don't know, this is just speculation, but like they'll fire good officers that maybe didn't deserve to get fired. I don't know. But there's no more thinking. It's just actions now, and out of emotions or fear, the police department scared that they're gonna get rioted. Let's just sacrifice one of ours so that we don't get another riot, stuff like that. So it's like it just got, everything's getting complicated, and the media is just sitting back like, yes, more chaos. They want to, what they have done to the American public is criminal, I think. I love America. I'm about it, man. I'm about this country. I love it. Yes, we can always do better. And that's for anything. We can always do better. But, man, some people just want to see ourselves burn. They just want to see the country burn. They love the zombie. They're so fixated on like zombie apocalypse. Or like, oh man, just imagine the end of the world. Oh, the fear porn. Like Joe Rogan says that too. It's like people are addicted to fear porn. They're so. That's why one thing I didn't want to talk much about the nuclear thing, because it is scary, but it's also something that we need to discuss about because it's not being discussed. And I think that's more important than, not that it's more important, but there should be levels of conversations. Okay, we're talking about this, next. It's not like that anymore in the media. I think I haven't been watching the news, but what I think how it is in the media right now is just the same topic over and over and over, related topics over and over. Police bad, this and that. And that gets to people's heads. All right. There are 16 million vets unorganized. Let me see that. What are you guys talking about up here? What are we talking about? What am I missing? I'm Tony. Salute, brother. Hey, Tony. Tony? But your name is Enrico. God bless. All right. So what we're talking about is just mainly talking about nuclear war, which is Ukraine and Russia. What's happening right now? There's war going on that's not being reported as much as it should be. And UFOs. It's crazy, I don't understand why nobody really is fascinated or just even curious. Like, what do you mean the Pentagon said there's UFOs, that there's actual footage of UFOs or something like that, right? I find it so interesting that but they don't care about that, but there's so like hear me out. So my friends have a group chat. It's about like 15 people in there, and they're more fixated on Republicans. They're obviously very liberal, or left, and they're more fixated on the bashing of Republicans or bashing on Trump supporters. They're more fixated on hate and anger and fear on what the media is telling them, rather than on more bigger news, such as U.S. going to war. More serious. It's not that I don't want to say it's more serious. Maybe it is. Actually, it is more serious. Russian aggression is not something to be taken lightly. It's not. They're a greater threat compared to police. Yeah, because if you think about it, like they're so angry about the police brutality. Yes, I think definitely we need. That's some stuff that we need more training. There's solutions to it, definitely. But the way they, like my friends who react to this, the way they treat it is as if they get pulled over every day or some shit. That's the crazy part. That's what the media is making them feel like oh my god, if I get pulled over, I might die. Like, bitch, no, you're not. most likely, most traffic cop, if you don't resist and you comply, you say, hey, I was like, sorry. Most of the time, it's just an interaction with another human being. What happens is it escalates when yes, sometimes you do have bad cops, and sometimes you do have bad people, and then you do have somebody who resists or doesn't comply, and you have to understand why cops are paranoid, because they get killed too. They're on the line. It's just, we need to think more. We just need to think more. All right, so Hemlock 987. Most Americans, especially this who served, thank you for your service, know we are all brothers and sisters. We are, because the thing about what's happening right now too with the Asian hate crime. Okay, I get it. Yeah, I don't know much about it, but I don't really experience it. But a lot of my friends who are appalled about what's happening all this racism and stuff like that, military folks understand it differently, I think, because we're so used to being in a melting pot of, and I'm from New York too. I'm originally born and raised in New York City. So I was always around different races and never, but right now New York is like one of the most racist places, I think. Texas, I love Texas. Coming here, everyone's so friendly. Southern hospitality. But being in the military, and a lot of my friends who are military, they're from Texas too. But being in the military, we're just a big melting pot, and you have to love each other. You're like kind of forced. You understand each other more. And we talk and you communicate. You fight. We're all brothers and sisters. We do fight. And that's where we know when we see other. Now we have a better understanding of humans. So yes, I do agree with you that military folks do understand how to relate with each other better and how to communicate. What is this? Armando Garcia, get on Joe Rogan show. That I love Joe Rogan, man. I don't agree with everything he says, but it's good to think. I love you gotta question everything. That's my whole thing. Is that you just question things. Like okay. And ask questions and get answers instead of being so angry all the time. That's why I love, because some other podcasts just get really mad and they go on a rant. But yeah, on Joe Rogan show, I rather just, I don't know if I'm gonna talk about, but I rather just go there and like sit on the sideline and drink and watch the show. Drink some whiskey and smoke some weed and watch the show. That'll be fun as like an audience member. One man. Okay. Cannot hire enough competent police if you scare them out of serving. Yeah, I think that's like an issue, right? There's just a lot of, it's just human, and then of course training. It's tough. It's tough being a police officer. It's tough hiring police officers. It's just tough, and we need better solutions. But one thing I'll tell you, defunding is not the answer, right? 100% is not the answer. And being silent won't keep us safe. Yeah, that too. We need to understand. Yeah, being balanced. We're in a complicated situation right now where I think people just need to start thinking more and start communicating more and understanding each other more versus being like, I win this argument or it's like, a lot of ego, a lot of, lack of self-awareness that's happening right now. Let me drink some. All right. So yeah. So nobody, do you guys know about the UFO stuff, or are you guys just, I get a lot of things from TikTok. I love TikTok. But everything that I do get from TikTok, it's the same thing with media, social media, mainstream media. You can't just believe it, right? You gotta be skeptical. You gotta ask the questions. So do your research. But what do you guys know about, the UFOs? I'm pretty sure you guys, and do you guys even know that? Again, I mean, we've been validating UFO sightings for a long time now, for a few years now. It's been pretty much validated. Now it's just even validated more that the Pentagon is saying. The Pentagon is saying this fucking UFO, man. Is what you're saying. They're the one who's released it. The media didn't even release it. It's the Pentagon who released the imagery, saying and declaring this again, for those who don't know, a documentary filmmaker was on a naval ship, from what I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, and he was filming it, and that's why it looked like potato quality, but he was filming it with like an NVG night vision, and it's just green, and you see like this triangle. People call it like a Dorito, and it has like some IR lights, like you could see from the night vision, where you could see some kind of flashing lights, and it's just flying. Nothing that we have, nothing that nobody has, and the Pentagon declared that it's, unless it's not, right? And unless we do have some kind of special technology that like Pentagon's like, holy crap, they freaking filmed they filmed our secret project. What are we gonna tell them? Tell them it's UFO. Could be. All right, let me see something. The truth is out there. Well, the truth is definitely out there. We just, when are we gonna get it? You know, all the truth, everything. All this is my belief or theory, whatever. The truth will all come out eventually. It has to. Whether it's aliens, whether it's are we being lied to by the government, by the media, and how many people are being manipulated, all that stuff. Eventually, whether it's a year from now, a few months from now. Normally, things come out every 10 years because why? Why 10 years is because of classified, top secret classifications, whatever. It takes, I believe it's like 10 years where you could declassify documents. So normally every 10 years we get truth. Let me see what it's saying. All right, so someone, you just troll. Someone said that the Earth is flat. All right, so Terry, do you think, what is this? What's his name? Not that Canadian. So Terry, do you think we should pull out of the Middle East ASAP? You can't just pull out ASAP, right? Because what happens? There'll be no stability, right? If we just leave, then whoever, let's say ISIS and stuff like that, or any kind of anybody, once the resistance leaves, there's no more resistance, and then it could escalate to chaos. So we can't just leave, and that's the tough part. What's the solution? We don't know, right? But yes, definitely we should have an exit plan, exit strategy. We have to. That's why we shouldn't be starting wars without a plan. Like, okay, it should take X amount of years. We go in, these are the things. And obviously things change, but that's according to that plan. And what they say about, the war on terrorism, it was a plan that is, the never ending, for these forever wars. It's very beneficial to some corporate, it is, people make money off of wars. And that's why there was no plan. So we need to have a plan. And so we can't just pull out. We need to think that through. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, definitely we got to end it somehow, some way. What's the saying, bro? You're looking too much into it. It's not the sea. Just live life with care. Yeah, you're right. What's your name? K Sager 99. If that's your you gotta live too, right? You gotta live. You can't be so fixated on what's happening, of how much control we have. But understanding is one thing, and to be aware of it. And you're right. Yeah, we gotta live our life. We can't let things happening around us that we have no control over necessarily to eat us up, and we can't be just like sitting here all day stressing about it and not doing our daily. We gotta live still, even that's what's happening right now with the media. We could either understand like, oh my god, this is the end of the world, or we can understand that still gotta live. You're definitely right. All right, so what are you saying, Armando Garcia? Police aren't the problem. It's the training and the citizens. There's so many variables. It's not just one thing. There's a lot of complicated pieces, and there's a lot of factors. Police need to be better, but so do we as people, of course. Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely. So that this is great. I don't even know how long we've been doing this for, but should have a timer next time. So I'm gonna put up my next tribute. Should be going up hopefully today. And you should definitely check that out. I'm gonna end this now. Wait, what's your thoughts on Ukraine and Russia? Do you think Russia is showing power move? Of course they're showing power move. 100%. 100%. This is the time to show power when they have this opportunity. You know, when the big brother, like us, we're the power one. We're eating ourselves, destroying ourselves, like with all this craziness that's happening within, and who's our leader and stuff like that. They're taking moves right now. China will do the same thing. That's when you do it. It's just strategy. I'm not trying to bash on one side or the other. It's just when you make moves, when prey isn't looking. You know, if you're the predator or whatever, you gotta make moves when at your advantage. And if you see your prey at the weakest point, that's when you attack. That's when you make moves. That's when you do things. And you can see who's in charge. But Biden is definitely not in charge. I don't know what the hell's happening. I don't know what's going on. So we'll see. I'm gonna look up more. It's just time. Time will tell what will happen with Ukraine and Russia, and what the U.S. will do, what NATO will do. And other countries around it. I know Turkey got Ukraine's back. It's gonna happen. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm gonna post this on YouTube too, so you guys could check this out. If I give you a shout out, let me know. All right. Have a good one. I never know how to exit this. Have a good one.